Lately, we have gotten reports saying that the Lakers plan to keep Maxi Kleber, which has many fans questioning why they might do that and why they would keep a guy that averaged 3 points per game on 38% from the field and 26% from 3 last season. I mean, at that point, what can he offer their team, and why would they want to keep a guy like that rather than trade him and trade his $11 million expiring contract? And you know, if you think about it, I think there actually is a point to make for why they would keep him and why it does make sense for them to keep him too. I mean, after all, JJ Redick, their head coach, does love versatility, and that's what Maxi Kleber has to offer. Now he might be a bit older than he once was and maybe not in the prime of his NBA career anymore, but he does offer a different skill set than literally anyone else in their entire team has to offer, especially if you're talking about their front court and really their center rotation in particular. I mean, compared to a guy like DeAndre Ayton or Jackson Hayes, for example, Maxi Kleber is very different, both offensively and defensively too. If we're talking about offense, he's the only one between them that actually can stretch the floor, not only to the mid-range like a DeAndre Ayton can, only to the rim to where Jackson Hayes can, but actually out to the three-point line. And yes, he didn't shoot well from the three-point line last season, but we are talking about a 35.4% career three-point shooter, which is well above average for a hybrid 4-5, and again, that's something that neither Ayton or Hayes have to offer. And then defensively, he can both play at the rim or actually move his feet side to side at the three-point line, something that neither Hayes nor Ayton can do consistently. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not to the level that Kleber has shown and literally has been proven to be able to do. So in that regard, he's the only guy on their team and only guy between the three of them that can offer that full combination: three-point shooting, versatility on defense, switchability on defense, a little bit of rim protection, and the entire thing in one package. I mean, I know it might not seem like much, but that's a really tough combination to find, especially with a guy that actually has postseason background and has proven it during the postseason as well. Doesn't get talked about much, but Kleber's actually been a playoff riser, not a playoff dropper. Yes, averaging about the same points per game, but if you turn to the efficiency and the three-point shooting, it actually goes way up with Maxi Kleber during the postseason. Compared to the 35.4% that he shot during the regular season, that jumps all the way up to 38.6% during the postseason, nearly 39% from the three-point line as a hybrid 4-5. Very impressive. So combine that all together and you have a guy that's actually got a pretty unique combination. Everything from the three-point shooting, defensive versatility, the playoff background, and then not to mention the fact that he's played with the Lakers' number one option, Luka Doncic, for the better part of 8 years now. So in my opinion, you have a guy that definitely could help their team out and probably is for the best for why they want to keep him and at least evaluate what he can offer their team for the time being. So with that in mind, what can he offer their team and what kind of role should he fill for their team? We're going to talk about that and explore that further during today's video. And well, if you're gonna talk about Maxi Kleber, the first thing you have to talk about him is and always will be health. I mean, I think there's definitely a role for him on this team and definitely a skill set that he can offer that, again, nobody else really can. But first and foremost, he's got to stay healthy to provide that skill set. Last season only playing 34 games, the prior to that one only playing 43 games, 37 in the 2022-23 NBA season, not hitting the 50 game mark in literally 3.5 years now, so that's obviously a major problem with Maxi Kleber. Can he stay on the court? Can he be a reliable option for the rotation? Can they keep him in the rotation due to health and actually does remain somewhat durable? You know, not gonna say the guys play 80 out of a possible 82 games here, that's not realistic, but I would be hoping for roughly 50 games. I think he does have to hit the 50 game mark again. You know, that's kind of a bare minimum for him. If he can't do that, and if he can't show to be somewhat durable and get back to what he used to be, then I might look to him as more of a trade asset at the trade deadline, use him more as an asset at the trade deadline rather than an asset for the rotation. That's really what it comes down to here with Maxi Kleber. But let's say that he is able to stay healthy and even somewhat reliable in the rotation, then what can he offer and what should be the role that he fills in the rotation? You know, at this point, that's obviously up for debate here. We haven't seen how DeAndre Ayton fits with their team yet, obviously a lot to like with him and very likely will be their starting center option. But then between Jackson Hayes and Kleber off the bench, even in some matchups maybe between Kleber and DeAndre Ayton, what's kind of the role dynamic between them? What will differentiate them? Who will get more minutes in one matchup compared to a different matchup? And how will JJ Redick kind of view them in that sense? Well, in my opinion, it's definitely going to be Redick trying different things out and potentially even two of them together on the court at sometimes. Whether that be a Kleber Ayton lineup, whether that be a Kleber Hayes lineup, but for the most part, I think they probably will be separated and only one of them on the court at different times. Obviously Ayton to start the game, then Hayes probably the first guy off the bench for their team, at least to start the regular season out. But with Kleber it kind of will be a toss-up. You could throw him in there at any time and it actually would make some sense, obviously depending on the matchup, but he might be the best fit for a closing lineup for their team. Between the three of Ayton, Hayes, and himself, again going back to the versatility on both ends of the court, he does have the most of it to offer, and that typically does translate pretty well to the fourth quarter or simply toward the end of the game. So if I had to guess, the rotation might look something like Ayton to start the game obviously, then Hayes to be the second center option off the bench, then during the second quarter maybe some Maxi Kleber time, then again maybe in the late third quarter going into the fourth quarter, then Kleber gets back on the court if he's playing well and outplaying both Ayton and Hayes in that particular matchup, or maybe it's against a smaller team that there's not really a big need for a big traditional 5 like Ayton or Hayes, then that might be the matchup for Kleber where he gets more playing time than them, gets the more important minutes quote unquote, and potentially even finishes the game for their team too. That's what I'd be looking at here with Maxi Kleber, playing kind of the lesser role in the first half between Ayton and Hayes, again maybe a toss-up between him and Hayes, but then come the second half and especially during the fourth quarter, that's when they might look toward Maxi Kleber a bit more. Now don't get me wrong, I think there will be plenty of games where DeAndre Ayton does finish the game for them, will be both their starting and finishing center option for that game, but do not throw Kleber out of the conversation here. I think he will and very likely will be in that conversation, will be finishing games for them at the 5 with both DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes on the bench watching him. In fact, I think there might even be games where neither any one of Ayton, Hayes, or Kleber finish the game for them. You know, might not be what you want to hear, but there will be a few matchups where it might be a Jared Vanderbilt at the 5, might be a combination of Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and or LeBron at the 4 or 5. There will be games with that option too. But again, I think Kleber will be in that conversation, will be in line for fourth quarter minutes at the 5, will be in line to legitimately finish the game for them at the 5. It simply comes down to matchup and obviously how he's playing out there too. I mean, it might be tough for him to find a rhythm. Compared to prior years where he played roughly 18 to 25 minutes per game with the Mavericks, I think he's probably looking more at like 10 to 15 minutes per game this season, especially to start out with. Maybe he could climb back to that 18 per game if he outplays Jackson Hayes and kind of takes his rotation spot away from him. Maybe even if he's outplaying DeAndre Ayton here and there, taking some minutes away from him too. But to start out with, I'm thinking at the most maybe 15 minutes per game for Maxi Kleber, and therefore it might be hard for him to find a rhythm. Like I said, he didn't shoot well from the 3-point line last season, and that's with him playing 18 to 19 minutes per game. Now trim that down to 10 to 15 per game. Can he get back to that 35% mark from the 3-point line, or will he be a sub 30% 3-point shooter again? If that's the case, then he probably won't fill an every game role for their team, or be a very viable option for fourth quarter minutes. So it definitely could be a toss-up here with Maxi Kleber. Definitely a bunch of ifs that come with him. If he can stay healthy, if he can get back to the production that he once had and showed with the Dallas Mavericks, if he can be a good fourth quarter option for them. A bunch of ifs here, but the point is that he's another option for them, a guy that's a lot more versatile than either one of the starting options or simply guys ahead of him in their rotation at center. So it's an option for them that I think they will turn to, and probably more than the casual fan might think too. But with all of that being said, what do you guys think? What's your outlook for Maxi Kleber with the Lakers next season? What kind of role do you think he will, and what kind of role do you think he should fill for their team? How many minutes do you think he should play? Should he get more or less than a guy like Jackson Hayes? And simply what's your outlook with him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.